Welcome to Forever the Johnsons, where marriage meets real life.
We're Rod and Shireen Johnson, and this podcast is our open conversation about love, marriage, careers, faith, and growing together in the middle of busy lives.
And we're not here pretending we have it all figured out, because we don't.
We're learning in real time, just like you, and we wanted a space where we could talk honestly about what relationships really look like once the cameras are off.
From balancing ambition and intimacy,
To communication, conflict, and staying connected while life keeps moving.
we're talking about all the conversations that couples avoid.
And the lessons you usually only learn after you go through it.
This podcast is for the couples who are building something together.
For the ones trying to love well while still chasing purpose.
So whether you're single, dating, engaged, or even married,
Or simply trying to understand relationships better,
welcome to Forever the Johnsons.
Hey y'all, welcome back to Forever the Johnsons. I'm Ree Johnson.
And I'm Dr. Rod Johnson.
And we are so happy to be on video.
Yes, this will be our first video podcast. We're a little nervous, but we figured it'd be a great opportunity to actually talk about our origin story because we don't think, after looking at the episode from the podcast,
think that we ever talked about how we actually met.
Exactly.
Which is so crazy. We just been yapping.
And it'll be really good if you're able to follow us on our journey as we are married so you can understand exactly where we came from, all the way up to where we are now.
Exactly. So, babe, do you want to get started or should I get started?
You need to go first because you be lying.
No, you be lying.
So she's going to talk about her part of the origin story and then I'll tell you what really happened.
Okay, y'all. So we got to rewind back to December 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So New Year's Eve, I was seeing everyone do this little grape thing where they were eating grapes under the table. So I was like, dang, 2022 was a bad year for me. Like, probably one of the worst years. It was not good. The only good thing that happened in 2022 was I became AK. That's it. Everything else, awful. So I knew I wanted to go into 2023 on the right footing. And I decided to get me some, I think it was green grapes.
Mm-hmm.
Get me some green grapes, get a red dress, some red underwear, and sit under my itsy teeny tiny dining room table and eat the grapes and make all my dreams come true for 2023. So fast forward to, I'll say like February 2023. I'm like going on dates and stuff and I'm like, none of these men are my husband. I was like, God, like, I want my husband. Like, not no little boyfriend. I want my husband. So I was going on dates and I was like, none of these men are my husband. So I was on Instagram just scrolling, you know, posting selfies, doing what I do. And this is March. And this person follows me on Instagram. And his name is Dr. Rod Johnson. So I was like, I can't see his page because he had a private page. So I was like, okay, I'm going to follow him back. Only because he's a doctor. I didn't know what kind of doctor he was. His little profile picture, it was this big. It looked real. And we had one mutual follower. Like, we both followed one person. Shout out to Alexis.
Mm-hmm.
We both had one mutual follower. So I was just like, I guess I'll follow this man back. Like, I don't know why he's following me. So I followed him. He followed me. And he would not DM me. Like, typically, like, a man will follow me and I would follow a man back. I'm saying typically, like, back in 2022, 2023. We're in 2026 now, so that's not happening now. Please don't DM me, guys. So back in 2023, men typically just DM me like as soon as they followed me. And typically I would not respond because I'd be like, who is this random man DMing me? Like, I'm not interested in you. So I followed him back knowing he would DM me. One day goes by, 2 days go by, 3 days go by, no DM. And I'm just like, this man is watching all my Instagram stories. I'm not posting anything, but this man is like watching all the like shenanigans. I think I was like going to Pilates,
Mm-hmm.
like things like that. But it wasn't anything major. Like he was just following all my Instagram stories. And I was just like, I need to drop some bangers, like some fine photos. Like I think the kids say fine shit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I needed to drop something that would put me in that category. So, you know those little what are they called? Like add here where you can do like templates on your Instagram stories that multiple people do. So I did an ad here and it was for like Women's History Month and it was like post the 4 versions of yourself. So I posted 4 different pictures of myself and I knew they were all bad photos. Like I look good. Y'all, why'd he swipe up on the picture on the template with hard eyes? I said, got him, got him. And then he DM'd me, and that's how we got to talking.
Okay, okay. So on my side of things, so December 22, right? I
Mm-hmm.
was just coming out of chiropractic school. I just became a doctor. And honestly, that was probably the hardest time of my life,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you become a doctor, especially being a chiropractor, you're ready to go out, you're ready to go save the world, but you understand that you're not really making doctor's money at the time, right? So it's really, especially as a young man, like you were learning how to become a young man because I've been in school since I started.
Yeah.
I've been in school since I started. So I ended up moving to Stanton, Virginia. I worked under a great chiropractor at the time, but I was just not happy at the time in my life, right? I was a doctor, but I just did not have like the financial backing at the time to just feel like I was a doctor.
Right, because how much money were you making at this
Oh my
time?
gosh. Oh, also, disclaimer because we're about to get into this.
Yeah.
When you were in school, chiropractic school, medical school, dental school,
Just
all
school,
that,
like where you're a doctor.
all that crap is absolutely fun. Okay, but make sure you pass your board. I played a little bit too much in college, so it kind of bit me on the back end. I ended up having to take my boards when I got out of college. I had to take like 2 of them. But the way they're set up is you can't take them back to back. You take like one part 1 month, and then you might not take another part for another like 3 or 4 months, right? So you're always waiting on those test results, and you definitely don't want to study so hard, and then you realize that you fail a board by like 5 points, right?
Yeah.
It's demoralizing. But enough of that. So basically, I'm just going through my grind, learning what it's like to be a chiropractor at the time. And truth be told, I had my fair share of fun in chiropractic school, and I was just
What
like,
do you mean by fun?
I just needed, I just needed to just be by myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to be bothered by anybody, friends, women, or sometimes even family. So I just stuck with myself. But again, I was trying to find happiness, and I just could not find it, right? So I decided to lock in literally for like 6 to 7 months, right? Staying in my Bible. I started journaling, which I was never doing that. I started meditating.
Mm-hmm.
Again, just forming that connection and relationship with God that I needed as a young man because I really needed guidance. And I couldn't get guidance from my friends, couldn't get guidance at the time from family members just because I just wasn't getting the answers that I was really looking for, right? Hey, Cinnamon. So what ended up happening after about 6 or 7 months, I had already knew like the exact job I wanted to work at, which we'll talk about that soon. But the exact job I actually wanted to work at, the type of woman that I wanted, down to literally Shireen, like how she looked, hair, body, goals, all of this stuff. Like I had it written down. right? Because I wanted to be very specific to God about like, God, this is what I really want. This is what I'm willing to work for. Can you
Yeah.
please like either bless me here or meet me halfway? That I promise you, I will do great by the blessings that you give me.
And that's the thing, like when you're asking God for things, you need to be specific.
Very specific.
Because I'm sorry to cut you off when you're telling your story, but even when I was writing in my journal about what I wanted my perfect man to be, my husband to be, like on T, like it's everything that Rod is, opposed from being 6'5".
Mm,
But
I'll
he's
play.
still
I'll
tall
play.
enough. He's still tall enough for
But
me.
but outside of that, literally, after about 6 or 7 months, I started to, I guess, gain more confidence in myself. I was stewarding my money better. I was learning how to save money off of the little like salary I was having at the time, right? And again, I was just becoming more of a man because I found out how to become a man through God and
Hmm.
outside of my own understanding. So literally, I prayed to God one day and I said, God, I am ready for a woman. I said, I feel like I'm financially ready. I feel like I'm spiritually ready, right? And I want to know what it's like to be a husband. But
Hmm.
find me a woman that wants a husband and I'll do her right. So on my For You page on Instagram, again, it was nothing but stock stuff, watches, and sports stuff at the time, right? Never have girls on my For You page because I don't really be looking into like other girls' profiles and stuff like that. I kid you not, one day I was looking on my For You page and there was a picture of her on the page. And I was like, who the heck is this? I was like, man, she looking good here, right? And I click on the page, and me, because I got to do my detective work, right? Because in my mind, if I want something, it's already mine, but I'm doing the research. I'm already doing the research before I even like say a word to her, DM her, anything.
But I thought you said it wasn't my page that popped
No,
up.
well, I'm getting to
Oh,
it.
okay,
So
okay.
it was her, but it wasn't like her page. It was an AKA page. So I clicked on the picture, but then when I clicked on the AKA page, I lost her. So I'm like, shoot, I said, I gotta find this girl, right? So I'm scrolling probably like 5 minutes, just scrolling, thumb hurting, finger hurting. I'm scrolling trying to find, and I said, I finally found her. And then it was just ironic at the time that she was in DC. That's at least where the location said, right?
Hmm.
DC. And I looked on the GPS on my phone. I said, okay, this is literally only like 2.5 hours away. I said, she don't know me, I don't know her. I said, but I'm willing to travel. I said, I'm willing to travel to go see her. And I was like, I haven't even made any advances. So I was like, screw it. I was like, I'm a follower. I was a little afraid at first because I saw how many followers she had. And if you understand the DM methods, right, I be trying to tell my homeboys about this, right? If she got a certain amount of followers, you're just not really inclined to just DM or follow this girl because you like, oh, she got too much movement, right? And I don't get on social media like that, so I don't have a lot of movement like that. But I was like, screw it, I'm gonna just follow her.
Movement.
After
What?
after a couple of after a couple of hours, she ended up following me back, and I said, "Oh shoot!" I said, "That girl got that many followers. She don't follow me back." I said, "Okay," but I said, "I'm not gonna be thirsty. I'm not gonna be thirsty." I said, "I definitely wanted her, but I said I'm gonna use this time and I'm gonna go through her entire page because for me, again, I'm looking for a wife. That's what I want. That's what I pray to God for." So I said, if she has any provocative pictures on her page at all, even one, I said it's a done deal for me. I said I can't do it, right? So I'm going back looking. I'm not even worrying about what she's presenting in the first like 20 photos. I'm going back to dang near like 2020. I'm trying to see what she was up to this point because again, I do my research. So boom, I didn't see anything. So I was like, okay. So I was like, I'm not gonna DM her. I said I'm gonna give it a day or two. Gave it a day or two, and then I saw the little collage that she had of the 4 photos, and I said, okay, I think this is for me. I said I gotta at least try. So I hearted it, and then she
No,
replied,
you saying heart
heart
eyes.
eyes, and then she replied back. I think like 15, 20 minutes later, and I said, okay. I said, now, but this the hard part. You got her to reply. Now it's all about, okay, what do you say next? Cause you can't be like, you can't be goofy.
Right.
You
I
can
said thank you when he sent me heart eyes. Because
and
what else am I supposed to say to that?
and I can't remember what I said, but if we can find those messages, we'll probably try to attach them to this so y'all can see, right? But regardless of what I said, we ended up having conversations, uh, via the Instagram thread. And then I figured out, so this is also key too. We're gonna get into this in other episodes, but just like be intentional. Find out what her
Mm-hmm.
schedule is. Tell her what your schedule is. Go ahead
Right.
and set the intention straight. Okay, if she gives you her schedule and you got your schedule, you know the window of opportunity to talk because she's letting you know what it is.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this works for me, this works for you. Let's meet at this time, and then we can just start FaceTiming, right? There's no need in talking on the phone. I want to see what you look like. I know you want to see what I look like in person. Make sure we're
Like the
not catfishing.
first talk was a FaceTime, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Like no phone call. Like he said, "Can we FaceTime? What time is good for you?" I say, "FaceTime." I said, "Okay." I think I said 7 p.m.
Yep.
and he called me at 7 p.m.
7
And I
p.m.
was ready. I was waiting for his phone call. He called me right at 7 p.m. Well, FaceTime me at 7 p.m. And he had a do-rag on.
Yeah, I did. And they ain't got no waves. I got a little bit. There are little ripples.
He's
Little
trying
ripples.
now, but the man ain't have no waves. He had a haircut on because he hadn't gotten a haircut.
Well, and then on top of that, I had told her weeks later, once we officially met, I was like, if I would have called you at 7, and if you would not have picked up, right, and then you would have texted me and been like I was doing such and such, I would have cut it off right there.
My
Cause
husband,
seven means 7.
my husband went to military school. He is very on time. He's very timely. He does not play.
But like that's the origin story, and then again we FaceTime for 3 weeks, leading
Before our
up,
first date.
yeah, before our first date, and I think a lot of people mess that up too, right? You're so quick to go on a date immediately, and it's like I talk to people all the time. She's talking to people all the time, but it's different when you have a one-on-one setting with a person and it's like you trying to figure everything. It's like, no, man, take your time. Talk to this person. Can this person be on time? Can y'all
Mm-hmm.
coordinate together? Can y'all do all of this? See if that can go on for a couple of weeks and then take this person out on a date because at least the trust is somewhat already built
Right.
in a sense. And then once we had our first date, it was just, we were already friends.
Yeah.
We were already friends and everything was intentional. So that's really the origin story from our sides, but I think now we can kind of transition more into like us getting engaged and getting married. So what has been like the hardest part for you? Or what was the hardest part for you at that time?
When we were like in that courting phase or
Let's say after engagement, after marriage. Pick one. Yeah.
ooh, so once we got engaged, I feel like the devil was just trying to ruin our covenant before it even became a covenant.
Hey.
Like when we got engaged, we moved in with each other. We hadn't lived with each other prior to that because one, we got engaged in 7 months. So 6 or 7 months.
It was 7.
7 months. We got engaged in 7 months. So there wasn't even time for us to live together in that time. And I'm so happy that there was no time for that because that would have been a mess. But he moved in November, like a couple of weeks after he proposed. And things were a little rocky because again, like Rod is very timely. Rod is extremely clean. Like Rod likes things in a specific way, and I'm very much
Yeah,
vibes.
facts.
Like I just liked my stuff a specific way. Like this back room that we're filming in, I used to just use this as like my second closet. I had a bed back here, but I would just take my clothes out of the dryer, throw the clothes on the bed, and I would deal with the clothes when I got to the clothes. Like I wouldn't out of sight, out of mind. Like it's things that I never had to deal with before because I'm an only child. So I feel like my life growing up was a lot different than Rod's life growing up. So definitely that engagement phase, I feel like a bunch of stuff was happening. Child, I didn't think we were gonna make it,
Facts.
truthfully. So what do you think was like the hardest part for you?
Mm, honestly, it was going like the months leading up to the engagement,
Mm-hmm.
truthfully,
Mm-hmm.
and then right after we got married, right, and maybe honestly, like all the phases, if I'm being honest. And the reason why is because, and I hear a lot of people talk about this as well, and this would be good for us to address.
Mm-hmm.
Just a lot of people think that they have to be quote unquote healed to get into a relationship,
Yeah.
right? Like I need to work on myself. I know my fault X, Y, and Z. And yeah, it sounds good. It sounds good on
It
paper. It
does.
sounds good
It
in
sounds
person,
great.
right? But what I've learned is just because of the way that she just told you I am, right? I can be very militant at times. I'm very chill, but it's just like I love to be on time. I love the house to be super clean. Like there's a certain standard that we have to have
Yeah.
because God expects a certain standard,
Mm-hmm.
right? The biggest thing is that I've worked myself up before her to be so self sufficient, right? Not necessarily to be dependent upon another person,
Mm-hmm.
right? To now I'm married to this woman because I love her and I actually have to depend on her,
Yeah.
right? I actually have to depend on her. So just trying to fixate my mind on, okay, like I have to remember like there I'm with another person. And I know
Yeah.
that, and that sounds really crazy.
But no, I feel like I struggle with that as well. Like being an only child and like living by myself, I never had to deal with anyone besides myself. Like even when we were dating and we adopted our dog, the dog was with Rod majority of the time. Like I did not want the dog because I was like, how am I going to take care of this dog by myself? Like it was the craziest thing for me. Like,
And I think also like every woman is different,
hmm,
right? There's some women who are a bit softer, right? And not as confrontational. And then you have like Shireen who can be soft, but because of the emotional fire that she has, she can be very confrontational. And I think that you have to be able to learn how to love a woman that type of way. And you have to be one, you have to be a very patient man, and you have to go to God because
hmm,
you really have to learn if you're going to be a leader of your family. Like you have to learn how to navigate through any storm that comes, whether it be something external or whether it's something internal as far as like your own spouse,
right.
right? And just trying to learn how to be like, okay, my wife is reacting to this, instead of being like, oh my gosh, bro, she getting on my nerves. It was more of a let me figure out what I did or what I said, not even just in that moment, but maybe weeks ago, a year ago,
Yeah,
right? That may have built her up to this point to why she's acting like this, and I need to find it, and I need to go to God, and I need to try to correct this, right?
absolutely.
But outside of that, that's just it. You can't. There's no way you're gonna know if you're truly ready for a relationship without the application.
Yeah.
Because until you step into that fire, you won't know.
And everybody says they want to be a husband, they want to be a wife, but baby,
It ain't easy.
until you until you start like properly courting or even like get engaged or get married, you won't know what being a husband or being a wife is. Sure, you can learn from your mother, from your father, but the Bible, child, the Bible has kept me sane because there's a lot of stuff like I just didn't know.
Right.
And my mom had three different marriages. Like sister was married, she was a wife, but it's different for everyone. It's not the same. So that's definitely a learning process.
So one other question that I would definitely love to ask you, because this would be good for them too.
Hmm.
Like, what does forever mean to you when it pertains to your relationship, when it pertains to marriage? What does that mean to you?
We locked in.
Right. Okay.
Ain't no switching up. You you got to be 6 feet.
Mm,
You got to be 6 feet.
I ain't got no more inches.
No, you got to be 6 feet in the
Oh God,
ground.
yeah, yeah, tight, tight,
Not
tight.
your height.
But as far as the forever question goes,
Right for you.
the biggest thing here is you literally have to choose your partner daily. And are you gonna argue? Absolutely. Is it always going to be peaches and cream? No.
Are
But
you always going to like each other?
no, but that makes the journey of marriage so beautiful,
Yeah.
right? Because you're able to figure out, okay, this is what got us in this position last time.
Mm-hmm.
Have we gotten better or have we gotten worse? Have we
Yeah.
gotten better or have we gotten worse? And if we're getting worse, then we need to try to mitigate this problem as quickly as possible, find a solution, and then we just need to be consistent with that solution each and every time. Because again, it's not easy, but it's so rewarding. When I talk about like the spiritual benefits that you get, like obviously God is gonna give more favor to a man just because he is married, because there's
Yeah.
much required that comes out of that, right? And then we talk about the financial benefit. Obviously, there's a certain amount of money as a man that you can save yourself or invest and multiply and all this stuff, but it's
Yeah.
easier when you also have a woman, right?
Exactly.
It 2x's.
And of course, everybody wants a soft life. Like, you don't want to work and do this and this and this. But when you're building together, building a life together, child, you're going to have to grind for a little bit, sister. A little bit. Just so your family is on a better financial track than look, if I wanted to quit tomorrow, I could. Thankfully, I could. But our goals would more than likely take longer to get to without my income.
Yeah, I mean, it's true.
So I think just sticking together, like always being together, that's forever.
And just choose your spouse daily, choose yourself daily as well,
Yeah.
and choose God daily.
Choose God.
Daily. But this is a format that we want to start being able to do for y'all. As far as like y'all actually seeing what we look like.
Yeah.
What we look like.
Besides our little profile picture that we have.
But we'll definitely be on track more with like making more videos. We want to be able to interact with you all more, and also we want to be able to find other couples in the area that we respect, that we love, from all backgrounds,
Yeah.
right? That are most likely married, right? And we just want to be able to have people on the podcast at some point in time and just talk about their
Yeah.
experiences, people that are just getting married, people who've been married for 50 years. Like it's going to vary, right? But
And obviously, we still have topics that we're bringing to you every week that we want to talk about. We're still going to have our themes for the month, but we want to make our podcast more interactive, which is why we decided on the video format as well as Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Yes. So if you have any questions, any concerns, or if you have any topics that you would like us to hit on, please comment. Well, first comment, subscribe, and comment below under our social media handles.
It's
And
at Forever the Johnsons.
yes,
It's real easy.
and we'll try our best to make sure that we cover those topics in our soon episodes.
Yes, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you guys next week.